Hi Taurus, this is your horoscope for December 2016. Thank you for joining me. On the 3rd of December, Mercury, the planet of communication, moves from Sagittarius in your 8th and it goes into Capricorn in your 9th house. Now Mercury is the way you put information out there, the way you receive information back. It's how you communicate and it's how you think. And in the sign of Capricorn, it's very dry, it's very practical, it's very grounded, and it can be somewhat sarcastic as well. It's productive too. Now, in the 9th house of education, travel, growth, and expansion, it shows me that your main focus now from the 3rd of December onwards is going to be your progress when it comes to learning. You're going to be very, very teachable, okay? So whether you've chosen a PhD or some sort of self-help curriculum, it really doesn't matter. As long as you've got something to work on that you care about, you're going to make a lot of progress in that field. In that same house, you also have your moon in Capricorn, you've got Venus in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn. All of those are very kind of personal energies, and you feel most at ease when you're working at something, when you've chosen something that you genuinely like and care about, and that can lead to some sort of transformation in your working life. As the month goes on, that energy persists, and then the next shift is on the 8th of December when Venus now moves from Capricorn in your 9th and it goes into your 10th house. Venus is the planet of love and beauty, and it's what you care about. So rather than just grinding away at something that you've chosen, in Aquarius it really opens up and you really start to consider the ideas and the inspirations that you've got and how those inspirations are going to affect people in general. So yes, you're still productive and you're still learning, but you're thinking behind the scenes alongside what maybe this could mean for you in your career in future, or what other kind of creative outlet that would present you with, or what impact this is going to have on other people. So you become very aware of your role in what you're doing and how that's going to have a knock-on effect. Mars is also in your 10th house. Mars is the personal planet of drive and desire. And in Aquarius at 21 degrees, that is very chatty, it's very communicative. And whenever you have the archetypal male principle and archetypal female principle together like this, something new happens. And because they're both in your 10th house, it really means that your learning, your education, leads to something new. There's potential for some new beginning when it comes to your career. And the way that comes across to me is a change of career or a new beginning in some sort of different kind of topic altogether. So for you, Taurus, this can really be a time of regeneration as a result of your learning. On the 14th of December, we have the full moon happening in Gemini in your 2nd house. And I'm making, or there will be a separate video on the full moon in Gemini, which really goes into a lot of detail and a lot of depth about the full moon, because these energies often affect us very powerfully. But Taurus, as far as you're concerned, the full moon is going to affect you when it comes to your finances and really having new ideas and opportunities and beginnings when it comes to your financial money life. So that bodes very, very well for you. Also, because of the sign that you are, Taurus, you have a natural knack for doing things creatively and coming up with money-making ideas. So this full moon is really going to serve you in a very optimistic, positive way. On the 19th, Mars, which has been sitting in Aquarius in your 10th house, it now goes into Pisces and it moves into your 11th house. Mars is, like I said, drive and what you're focused on, but when it moves into Pisces, it's very frustrated as far as I'm concerned. Because Mars is this fireball, it wants to get somewhere, it's speedy, it wants to move in a certain direction. And Pisces is just water that sits there and analyzes itself sometimes, or just kind of tries to connect with something bigger, hazy, but it doesn't move anywhere. So those two aren't a natural match. So in your 11th house, I really think that you may experience a sense of impatience when it comes to your hopes and dreams being realized, and there may also be a sense of frustration or irritability when it comes to your friendships. You've got a lot going on in that 11th house. You've got your rising sign in Pisces, you've got Chiron in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, and your South Node in Pisces. So there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes up here, and when you add Mars into the mix, which is like impatience and let's get things done, there is the potential for you to have a shorter fuse. So just be aware of that. and just do everything that you can for yourself, that you focus on things that actually do work for you. Study. What am I going to do work-wise? How is this going to impact other people? If you've got a friend who is just demanding and who wants you to solve their problems for them and they're not interested in helping themselves, then don't do that to yourself and get super frustrated. Focus on something that actually is going to serve you in some way. Now on the 19th as well, Mercury, the planet of communication, it does go into retrograde in your 9th house of education and growth and broadening your horizon. So that is not necessarily a negative for you because you're about learning. You're about getting new information in with the way this is placed. When Mercury goes into retrograde, it's about finding alternate ways of doing things. So it may be that you discover some new book or a new course, or one of your lecturers drops out and someone new comes in, and because of that you learn something different, or you find a different way of writing. So this is really positive for you, this Mercury retrograde, because you're forced to discover a new way of communicating and doing things. So you learn something really new. This Mercury retrograde lasts until the 8th of January. So be open-minded and continue to be teachable. You really have the opportunity to learn amazing things here. On the 20th of December, Mars begins to conjunct Neptune, and that conjunction lasts until the 10th of January. Now, Mars has been somewhat irritable here in Pisces in your 11th. Neptune is a big outer planet. It's the planet of dreams and aspirations, and it's at 9 degrees in Pisces. So there's huge spirituality, there's a huge sense of empathy and compassion for other people. If someone is really being annoying and irritating, for instance, you will see the good in them anyway, and you're like, oh my God, this is such a wonderful person, and they may be behaving in a way that I don't like, but I don't necessarily judge them for it. And you become very magnanimous and very accepting and very loving and open, which is wonderful here because we're coming into the festive season. So if you have that attitude, that's wonderful. But now Mars is conjunct with it, and Neptune kind of overpowers Mars, and that sense of irritability that you had on the 19th here when Mars went into Pisces, that abates a little bit, and that becomes softened by Neptune kind of overwhelming Mars. So empathy, seeing the good in other people, that overrides this personal sense of frustration. But just be aware that it's still there in the background. Don't try and save anybody. Don't try and fix everybody else's life problems, and focus on the education and progress and learning and how that will influence other people. That's going to be a much better bet for you. On the 28th to 29th of December, depending on where you are in the world, Uranus, the planet of eccentricity and drive and doing things in your own unique way, it's in Aries, in your 12th house, that goes direct. So the outer planets are retrograde for a long time, and when Uranus is in retrograde, it's about letting go of chaotic things in your life and just letting them go away and drop and disappear. When it goes direct, it's really like bang, you hit the ground running and you have energy to move forward. In your 12th house, you feel an inner sense of independence, strength, desire, focus, growth, ambition, and you really become naturally interested in something and naturally move towards it. Combined with all of this learning, all of the energy that you had in your 10th house, you're really able to transform your life here in such a way that you're being honest with yourself about what you're genuinely interested in and how you can apply that in a career working sense. And if you're retired, how you can express that creatively or through whatever it is you're doing work-wise, if you're doing charity work or volunteering or whatever. There's really a way to transform your life so that it makes more sense to you and that you enjoy it more. On the 29th of December, the new moon happens in Capricorn in your 9th. And again, there will be a separate video on this going into detail about the new moon, so check that out. But as far as you're concerned, there's even greater drive to learn and to expand and to grow and to broaden your horizons. So you really go into 2017 being someone who's focused on personal development and growth. If you would like a personal reading with me to look at your chart and what's coming up for you, how these influences are going to affect you specifically based on your place of birth, date of birth and time of birth, and what's coming up for you in career, what direction you should go in when it comes to your education, learning, your love life, your finances, anything at all, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, and I'll speak to you soon.